So welcome to the webinar, Brenda. We're so looking forward to hearing your wisdom about essential oils. So can you just give us a little bit of an outline about, well, number one, when we hear the word essential oils, we hear Dr. Wallach talking about the essential nutrients. Is the word essential meaning the same thing in regard to essential oils, in meaning that the body cannot manufacture them, so they are essential to us every day, or does it mean of an essence?
It means both of them, actually. Although you can survive without essential oils, it is not necessary for your existence, but essential oils are for the benefit of your existence. So if I've got a headache, and you can quite often do a drink of water or something like that to get rid of it. But when you start looking for the drugs, that's when you need to look for the essential oils, because there's no side effects and you're going to get a better, safer result. And it's going to last a lot longer. So it's not to build the body as far as that nutritional stuff, but they work together in tandem, because it's like with the plants that we get them from, you have 90% of a plant goes to the nutrition, the supplements. The top 10% is the essential oils that comes in to help with the spiritual, mental, and intellectual, all of the other things that go along with it. Because if you're frustrated, that's when you're not going to take your supplements. When I'm angry, that's when I don't take my supplements. So I have to calm myself down, which is usually work on my thyroid. So they're not essential as than the fact that they're going to help your body grow, but they are there for everything else that the supplements don't do.
Right. Okay. So sometimes we get the question from diehard nutritionists that nutrition is the answer to everything. So what are the healing properties of essential oils, and how deep does the healing go in comparison to nutrition?
Well, because it's so much more on the emotional part, it's hard to put a level on it, because everyone's emotions and their intellect and their spirituality, they're all different levels. And so it's not going to really work in that way. But when I was really sick, my spirit was really low. And if I hadn't had the use of essential oils at that time, I might have done something stupid, because I needed something that would calm down those emotions and the frustrations and all the anger. And supplements weren't going to do that. Even when I started taking the supplements and started feeling better physically, I still had to deal with all of the stuff in here and in my heart. So it's really hard to say that they're necessary for your life, and yet I know that they help make my life a better place.
Okay, yeah. So could you just give us a little bit of an understanding of how the essential oils work in the body?
They support the body systems. So if I'm working on a circulatory system, okay, so I'm going to be taking the supplements for my heart and for the blood flow and and the blood sugars, and I'm going to be doing all of those things. But I don't want to be taking capsules or liquids all day long, but I can feel that I've got a change in, say, my blood pressure. So I can open up a bottle of, say, ylang ylang, and just take a breath and calm it right down. It'll just take everything back to a balance. Or if my blood sugars are out, I can take a sweet soothe oil, because I've already had all my sweet ease, so I can take an oil that's going to complement that and just breathe it, put it on the bottom of my feet, rub it on my stomach, something like that. I can do something to benefit or enhance the fact that I've taken the supplements.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. So the focus of today's webinar was to teach us what oils every household should have. We've got some terrific oils that can help little children and, help trauma conditions. Between you and I, we made a bit of a list. So you started out with a list, and then I've added to it. But the first one was tea tree. So What can that do for us in our home?
Well, tea tree, which is Melaleuca alternifolia, which is from Australia, is absolutely the medicine chest in a bottle. If you don't have any other essential oil, you should have tea tree. This essential oil can do for your body what every other oil can do until you can get the specific one. All essential oils are anti-germicidal, antifungal, antibacterial, but tea tree has the ability to step in, and work on everything. So it can clean a wound, it can start healing the wound, it can clean your house, it can get rid of insects. I mean, it can do a lot of things. And then one of the specific things to tea tree, essential oils increase the oxygen level of your blood by 20%. One drop on the bottom of your feet can increase the oxygen level of your blood. Tea tree helps your body accept that extra oxygen and how to use it. So it's one in every muster kit in the military. Every muster kit except the United States has a bottle of tea tree in it because it can do so many things. The United States has insurance.
So ginger, the ginger oil.
Ginger is the digestive system. And one thing with essential oils that we have learned, and because in the United States our laws are so restrictive, and the FDA and the FTC likes to come in and just jump on everything we say, we can talk about body systems. And, where you can talk about concerns, we have to talk about body systems. So with ginger, I'm going to be working with the digestive system, and this one is safe for children. So I can put it in a lotion and rub it on the tummy. I can put it on the bottom of the feet neat, and neat means no carrier at all. And the bottom of the feet is best for that, to have them neat, because the pores of the bottom of the feet are receptive to the essential oils. It's just the way they work. So with the ginger, I can also do a tea. Now, there's a big thing going around about taking it internally. Well, with the digestive system, essential oils are caustic, and they will actually destroy and ruin the esophagus and the stomach unless you protect it. So if I want to make a ginger tea, my best friend ever is honey. So I can put the essential oil into the honey, stir it into the warm, and then the honey into the warm water, and have sip a tea to calm down my stomach. If it's a child, I'm going to take a toothpick in the lid and put that into the honey, so they're not even getting a drop because it's too much, but you sip it, and that will help calm it down. That will also get rid of parasites. It will also help get rid of any other things that you've got in the system. It can help with candidas type of a thing, but there's better oils before it. But so ginger is what we really consider for settling the stomach. Expectant mothers love it. All you have to do is take a breath. You don't even have to do anything else, and it'll settle down that stomach. And so it's good for motion sickness, morning sickness, kids ate too much ice cream sickness, all of those different things.
Yeah. So if you had a child that had chronic constipation and was in a lot of pain, would you just rub the ginger on their stomach?
You can. And even ginger is common enough, even though it's a spice, and spices are normally kind of a burning oil, you can just put like 2 drops in the palm of your hand and go clockwise on their stomach. And people, if you don't understand clockwise, just go back and forth and you'll accidentally do clockwise. But clockwise is the way that the blood goes, and so you need to make sure you follow that blood flow. But you can do that. But some child, especially a very young child, you need to be very cautious. So have a lotion handy, or the grapeseed oil, or one of the carrier oils. Have it handy in case it starts getting red or they start getting uncomfortable with it, and get a carrier on it immediately to dilute it. Do not wash it. Water drives the oil deeper. So you need a carrier that will actually lift the oil up into the carrier. So with a real small child under the age of 2, I start with a carrier with 1 drop in it or less.
Great.
So, yeah.
So you mentioned there are oils for candida. What would you recommend there?
Well, believe it or not, there are a lot of oils that will work. The cinnamon and the clove and the copaiba. There's a couple of them that will work on the heel. But the best thing you can do is get the good herbs, the super olive support.
Right.
That's the best thing you can do.
Okay. Fantastic. Raven Sarah.
Ravensara is an amazing oil. It's one of my favorites. In fact, we've named all of my favorites, but Ravensara is considered for the lungs. So we're talking a newborn baby who aspirates, and so they need to clear their lung, and they won't, because they won't cry or cough or anything. You can just take a drop on the parent and put it on their palm and rub it on the chest and on the back. Clears the lungs right up. Children that with asthmatic type of thing, or a constant cough or something, it will work to clear that up. So it clears the lungs. But it's also the nerve tonic. It's also the nerve oil. So for shingles, if someone has shingles, which I've never had, thank goodness, but people that have it are absolutely miserable. But if you take our plant-derived minerals and put it in a misting bottle, and not a spray bottle, but a misting bottle, and of course they're all over there, a misting bottle, and put, say, a 1 ounce misting bottle, you're going to put like 8 to 10 drops of Ravensara. And I would put, if right at the beginning, I would put 1 drop of birch for the pain, and shake it up really well, and just mist it on as often as you need it throughout the day. It will clear up the shingles, as well as calming down that itching and that irritation that's there with the nerves. So it works on the nerves as well as working on the lungs.
Great. What about burns? If somebody's...
Yeah, lavender. Everybody should have lavender. And our lavender is called lavender Milet. There's over 250 species of lavender in the world, and ours is Milet. She is a cloned lavender, meaning that she is owned and governed by the Board of Aromatherapy in France. And she has the ability to reproduce her own seeds and grow her own plants to then be grafted onto for the lavender. So she's over 300 years old, and her properties have not changed at all. So with a burn, you have to cool it first. If you've got to stop the burning with cold water. And then she goes in and immediately starts helping the body rebuild healthy tissue, which is why you end up with no scarring, and why you end up with not having a lot of, scabs to work with. Your healing properties are increased like about 80%. So the time of healing is much more, but you have to stop the burning first and then gently put it on. And if you've got severe burns, again, the misting with the plant-derived minerals and the lavender.
So you'd mix the plant-derived minerals with about, how many drops of lavender?
The ratio is, in a 1 ounce mister, it's 8 to 10 drops. In a 2 ounce mister, it's 18 to 20.
Great. And then just spray that on the burn.
Yeah, shake and you shake well and spray it, mist it right on. And that's really the best thing to do, because when you rub it, you irritate.
Yeah.
So yeah, misting is the best thing.
Great.
Now, at home, when I cook, I have one right by the stove. I'm really good at forgetting the hot pad when I'm grabbing the hot pan. And so I should just, when I start cooking, I should just turn the water on cold. But I cool it down as quickly, and then I put a drop of lavender in it. If it continues to hurt, then I'll do the cold water again, and then drop, and then I forget it. I don't remember it in about 10 minutes. So
yeah. So lavender is also good for inducing sleep as well.
Very good. Her nickname, by the way, is Divine Mother. So she's good for calming. She's good for giving you the feeling that everything's okay. So providing your spirit with peace. She's very good for doing these things as well. She's a master healer, but it's more of the emotional and the spiritual type of healing, as well as some of the physical. But she is very good at helping, and the calming with pets, the calming with children, and then with adults. She's phenomenal. And it's not something that, she doesn't say go to sleep like the good night does. It just calms everything down, and you know that everything's all right. So it's safe for newborns to nearly dead.
Yeah. So with the animals, how would you apply it to,
It's really cool, because I don't know if you're able to get the Four Tails only line.
Some of it. Yeah.
Okay. We met with them, and they came up with a calming mist that you just mist on the pads. Okay, on the pads. You can take the lavender if you don't have the mist. You can take the lavender, put a drop on your finger, one finger, and just kind of rub it together and then just touch the paws, because it absorbs in about 3 seconds, but you want to make sure they're not going to lick it off. So hold them for a few minutes, and the cats are going to be worse than the dogs, of course.
Yeah.
But you can do that. And if you've got like fireworks and you've got a lot of things, you know, that's what the calming mist was created for. And you spray it onto the palm of your hand and then rub it through the fur, and then a drop on the paws.
What about larger animals like horses that can get really flighty at times?
Yeah, the same thing. And I called some people that I know in Oklahoma that have horses, and working with them to get the calming mist. And then it can be done on the, you can't, you know, on the hoof doesn't work. You can kind of, again, put it on the palms of your hand, and make sure you can't get any of the oils by the eyes of anybody. The eyes and the ears are just a no, no, no. So you can put it around, you know, the neck. You can put it around, you know, on the body. You can go down the legs. I know he said that he had one that one of the horses just was always moving his feet a lot, and so he would put it on his legs. But you can mist on them, the bigger ones, you know. And a lot of the time you have to go with inspiration. Sometimes all they have to do is smell it, because aromatherapy is just breathing it. And they are more sensitive and responsive to breathing than we are.
Yep. Okay. We've got 2 good oils that also assist with better sleep, the Good Night and the To Be at Peace. And they have 2 different properties, I've read, where one will help you get off to sleep and the other keeps you in REM sleep longer. So could you tell us?
When we started off with longevity, we started off with the To Be at Peace. And we have the 4 To Be's, the To Be Well, To Be Happy, To Be Loved, and To Be at Peace. And these are for children up through senior citizens. So they're for everyone, but they're totally safe for children. And so To Be at Peace was created to calm them down, literally. It, again, because of what's in it, the blue tansy, the lavender, the things that are in it are calming oils. And you can put it on, it has, the blue tansy is a blue oil and it will stain. So you can put it on a cotton ball and put it inside the pillowcase, okay, if they really need to. I prefer to take that cotton ball and put it to the side of the bed on the bed stand or something like that, or even drop it on the floor by the head of the bed, because it will come up to you. But it's very calming. We also use this for people with addictions. That's how well it calms that spirit, just calms that need to have everything. So it's very calming. And so the To Be at Peace. Now, you have people like me, the To Be at Peace is great for going to sleep. And in 2 hours, I'm wide awake and my mind is going, you know? Yeah. Okay, the Good Night, it started out with earth scent, which is what it was created for. But the scent of earth scent for me was really, I wasn't happy with it. We'll put it that way. And I wasn't very nice. I just didn't like it. So we put some higher notes on with it, and so it can Good Night. And the Good Night, literally put it on the top of your big toe, which is the reflex point for the brain. And rubbing it on the big toe helps your brain to go to sleep and stay there. It literally shuts your brain down. You're not going to not hear things. If there's an emergency, you'll hear things and you'll have the reflexes to everything you need. But it's going to stop that list going and that worry and that, you know, constant thinking that keeps you awake. So, however, it doesn't stop you from having to get up and go into the bathroom all night long, but it does help you go right back to sleep.
Great. So the To Be at Peace, could you put that on the soles of your feet as well?
You can. My grandkids love it. At bedtime, they come and they know they can't touch the bottles. You know, they can hold them, but they can't take the lid off, because then grandma is no longer the nice grandma and mama's not the nice mama. So they've learned, but they lay down and up come those feet. Da-da-da-da. And, you know, they know that they want the one that has the P on it, if, you know, for the peace, for sleeping, or if they don't feel good, they want the W. And so they know that, and they do that. But yeah, the bottom of the feet is going to be good for everything you want to do. And the other thing you can do with everybody is just smell it.
Right. But the optimal place for the Good Night is on the big toe, the top of the big toe.
Yeah. Now, I will often, when I'm traveling, I will put it on the cotton ball and put that on the side of the bed as well. But it's kind of strong for me. And so I prefer to have it on my big toe and at that end of the bed.
Great. Okay. All righty. So back to your list, the lemon oil. Why is that so important for us all to have in our home?
It's amazing because lemon, when you hear lemon, everyone thinks cleaning, which
Yes.
it does. It cleans the air, antibacterial, antifungal, anti-germicidal. It cleans the air, but it also helps stimulate the brain to remember what you've been studying and what you're learning. So while I'm cleaning, I'm stimulating the brain so I can have help with memory. I can use it when I'm cleaning. If I'm with the vegetables, when I bring them in for the garden, I can take in my a tub and I can put a tablespoon of plant-derived minerals in there and a drop of lemon and swish my vegetables through there, and they last in the fridge or wherever I put in them for about 2 to 3 weeks longer. Part of that's the plant-derived minerals, but also the lemon. Okay, so it just stays fresher. And you can use the lemon to cook with, but keep your drops under 2. You don't want a lot because the essential oil is so powerful that if you put too many in there, that's all you're going to taste. And there's no therapeutic properties when you put it in your food, but you do have still the benefits of the scent, the aroma, which is going to help with calming and different things. So cleaning is really good, clearing the mind and helping a student. It's really good if they're smelling lemon while they study and then have lemon when they take the test. It's been shown that they get about a 30% higher grade on their test.
Fantastic. So now we've got deep cleanser oil.
The deep cleanser is not, it has lemon in, but deep cleanser is one that I use in my laundry. It's one because it's really good at getting rid of the bacteria and any of the bugs. So when I travel, I have a misting bottle. I don't mix it up before I leave because good old airport people like to pour it out. So, but what I do when I get to a hotel room, I start misting immediately. I mist that whole bed. And sometimes I've even pulled up some of the sheets and mist it. I mist the floor. I mist the bathroom, everywhere, because I don't know what kind of chemicals they have used. I don't know if they've got bugs in their, 5-star hotels can still have bed bugs. So I mist everything, but that's what it's mainly for, is to really clear and get rid of a lot of these, the bacteria that comes on everything and is just everywhere. I've even had people put it in, if they had mold in their house, the deep cleanser will kill the mold. But then as you've got it all cleared out and cleared up the walls and everything, when you go to repaint, put about 20, 30 drops of deep cleanser in the paint, and that will soak it into the wall and fight further mold. So it is anti-mold as well. So I put it in my laundry. I will put it into my laundry detergent, and I just go shake, 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 and that's whatever it does. And so whatever's on that fabric, because you're out in the world, you're picking up stuff, it keeps it all clean. So.
Okay. So if we got mold on like leather jackets or shoes or things stored in our cupboards, could we just spray that directly onto the clothing?
Yeah, you totally can. And don't use the plant-derived minerals on that. The clothing doesn't need plant-derived minerals. Yeah. But you can with the water. You can mist it on, and with shoes. All of my teenagers have left, but I've got some grandsons that are coming up to being teenagers, and even a granddaughter that's great at running, and their shoes are horrible when they're done with their run. So we just mist them with the plant-derived minerals, or not with the deep cleanser, with some, just mist it in there. No problem.
Great. Awesome. So the trauma oil and or the comfort touch, I'm guessing that they work similarly, but they have different properties.
Yes, they do. They're both for a trauma. They're both for an injury. They're both for, and these are more of the trauma, especially is for a physical injury. And the oils that are in there, so like the helichrysum is in there to stop the bleeding. It stops it immediately. It's an anti-hematoma, so you're not going to have bruising. because when the body is bruised, it doesn't circulate and you don't heal as fast. So my husband is a mechanic, and he's getting pretty good, but every once in a while he'll hit something under the car and split the knuckles or something, and he just puts a drop of trauma on it, lets it soak in for, count to 10, usually in there before that. You can see the bleeding stop, and you can see it start healing the wound together already, and he's ready to go. So, and there's no scarring. So the traumas for anything like that, if you hit something, so it doesn't cut the skin or anything like that, but you're going to get a bruise, put a drop of trauma on it, stop the bruising. Now it's good, it's okay for children, but it can be a little strong, so you have to make sure you're very good at counting to 1. So for a child, it will stop the bleeding, but I would only do it the very first time. Then I would go to the Comfort Touch. Comfort Touch has only been with us for about a year, and it was created by Leanne and her husband Kent. And Comfort Touch is similar in properties. It's going to stop the pain, it's going to stop some bleeding, but it's safer, has different oils that are safer for a child. And it's easier with a child to repeat over and over and over, and your senior citizens as well. It's better to repeat the Comfort Touch for them, where the trauma is more for the active middle age, teenagers, that kind of, that are more prone to that.
I've also heard that you can put it into the CM cream and relieve arthritis pain with it.
Why, you sure can. And that CM cream, I love the CM cream. I have a few, maybe 6 or 7 already mixed up. And when we've got the good herbs to put in with it, that's even better. So we make the turbo creams. But if I know that the injury is not going to be lasting, it's not going to last as long as I need for that whole jar to go. So I will take some of the jar and put it into a smaller jar, and then put in like 10, 15 drops of the trauma and rub it on, especially when I've got sore muscles and I've really done a large injury, something like that, then I'll do that. And Comfort Touch, you can do the same for the children, because the CM cream is safe for them as well, even with the peppermint in it. But don't add peppermint. Now, when I'm using them for the turbo creams, I add cypress. And the reason I add cypress is because cypress is a driving oil, a circulatory oil. And so I'm going to add into my CM cream, I'm going to add one of the herbs, like usually the bone and joint, because that's usually what I hurt. So the bone and joint, and I'll put maybe 5 or 6 trauma, and I'll put 5 cypress, and away I go.
So those herbal drops that we have, you're just using them in the CM cream?
Yeah, because they're from the same plant.
Right.
Not exactly the same plant, but the same purpose for the plants. Yeah. And so they work in conjunction with each other. And right. Herbs and oils are original healers.
Right. Okay. So in the Comfort Touch, you've got one element there, copaiba. Is it copaiba? Mm-hmm. And I had a customer telling me the other day that she uses it. I just can't remember for exactly what now, but I was amazed at its properties. So could you just tell us a bit more about that oil?
Copaiba is one that we haven't got in the line yet. Right now, we only were able to get it through the Aroma Share. Yeah. But we are politely suggesting that corporate brings it in. You like that word?
Yes.
Politely. As in, when are we going to get this? So, yeah, its properties are similar to the CBD, marijuana. The properties are, but with no side effects. Right. No side effects whatsoever. And that's why they're safe for children. So the copaiba is one that it's kind of a mild one. When people smell it, they expect it to be really strong because of all the properties that it does. It's really strong for pain. It's really good for all ages of pain and all types of pain. So if I've got the headache, it's working better than the lavender and the peppermint for pain. It's for muscle pain. It's better than the marjoram. It is really good because it has the same properties as that CBD oil, which has side effects like crazy, and you can't get through the legal department of everybody all the time. But copaiba as an essential oil with all of those same properties is still a really good oil to work with. As the antiseptic with it, It's also good at helping to balance blood pressure, similar to the ylang ylang and the rosemary that will work with that. But it's just a very good, well-rounded oil, safe for all ages. Mm-hmm. So we are really kindly suggesting that it get put on the main line.
Yep. So you mentioned the CBD oil. Frankincense is known to have properties that work similar to some of the, medical interventions with cancer treatment, for example.
And the true meaning of cancer is a cell out of order. Yeah. And so if you're referring to cells out of order, then you can talk about it as all you want. But frankincense is another master healer. But tea tree will do that as well until you get frankincense. That's the amazing thing about essential oils, is they will all work on whatever you're working with because of the properties with them, because they're all antifungal, all antibacterial, and all anti-germicidal. But the frankincense has more complete of the healing properties. And with the lavender, the two together, we have the frankincense lavender blend because of how well they work together at healing the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, and the physical. If I've got any scarring, well, I did have scarring, and I just take the frankincense lavender blend and just would put it neat, and it was a scar here, and so I just would take the bottle and just, 2 or 3 times a day. And in 2 weeks, I had no scar. And I'd had that thing for 8-9 years. Mm-hmm. Barbed wire fences are not my friendly things. Mm.
So in what amount of time did it heal that scar?
About 3 to 4 weeks. And it was old. It was an old scar.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and stretch marks are an old scar.
That's right.
We don't have to keep them.
Yeah.
The kids are already grown. We don't have to keep them.
Yeah. I remember what it was that I was trying to call to mind, and it was, I'd read where frankincense has similar properties to chemotherapy in certain...
With no side effects.
Yes.
And simply because it fights and helps to rebuild that harmed cell. That cell is out of order. And then if you're taking the supplements to go with it, you're taking the Z radical, you're taking all the things to go with it to nutrify the body. You've got the oils working on the healing part, helping your body to heal, and the supplements to help your body to rebuild. There you go.
Yeah, you're covering all your bases.
Yeah. The biggest thing about frankincense is everyone's saying, take it internally, take it and put it on the top of your mouth, take it and put it in your mouth. You're still going to hurt your digestive system. So I'm not saying you absolutely cannot do it, but you don't need to have a huge drop of it. I mean, literally, if you take your essential oil and just go like this, and that's it, you don't even get a full drop. You can put it on the gums for healing the gums. You can put it on the top of the mouth, but it's going to be safer if you put it on the bottom of the feet, because then there's no side effects.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, so First Defense and To Be Well, two simple products. One is better for children and one is better for adults.
Correct. We did the First Defense, and it was created as literally your first defense when you're going out in the world. That was the name, is First Defense. And it's one that you want to mist around you when you've got your clothes on, so that it settles on the clothing. And then as you go around, it puts a circle around you of all the germs coming through, and it'll fight a lot of the things. And so when we had people that, the bird flu and all of this, and people coughing and people worried about somebody with a cold, you're not going to be affected with it as much because you've got this shield around you. But it was too strong for children under the age of 8. So therefore, the To Be Well, that's when Alexandria was creating the children's versions of all of the adult ones, the To Be Well. Now, if you have children, I would just get To Be Well and just put, a touch on the children and a full drop on the adults.
Mm-hmm.
That's one that my grandchildren love the most. I mean, yeah.
So you wouldn't worry about getting the First Defense even for the adults in the home?
Not if you have children.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just missed a little bit more of the To Be Well.
Yep.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Breath of Life, is that one for the children?
Breath of Life is the blend of the Ravensara. So it's more for the asthma. So if they have asthma, then you could, and it would be putting it on. So on the bottom of the feet, you're going to put it on that fat pad. That's for the lungs. That's the fat pad. That's for the reflex point for the lungs. It's good for an adult to mist around, but unless they have asthma, I would not use a blend on a child under the age of 12. I would use the Ravensara.
Right.
So it's always safer quite often to just get to know the single, because the blend may not. It's not going to hurt them, but it can open up the lungs too much for them to be able to handle, because their lungs are still developing.
Yeah.
So that's why with the Breath of Life, you need to be careful with that, but it is possible.
Okay, great. So Man Up, I just noticed that one on our website today. So can you give us a bit of a...
It's not what men wish it was.
Yep.
It is so not what men wish it was. So sorry, guys. This is for the prostate.
Okay.
Well, it does help with men's hormones. And I had to laugh when I first heard, I thought men have hormones. Let me show them a hormone. But they do. They do have emotions, and they do have hormones, and they do have a thyroid, and they do have the different things. But this is more for the health and benefits of the prostate. However, do not place on a moist place. It is very burning.
Right.
And the men have tried it and can, I will not name them, but it is proven. Bottom of the feet, the heel, or you can do the lower abdomen and inner thigh, but do not place on a sensitive area. It does not stimulate anything more than pain, and pain is not exactly what they're looking forward to.
Mm. So people with prostate cancer, would they be using this?
I would mix it, and I think the Man Up might have frankincense in it because of, let's see, Man Up. So we've got thyme, calamus, oregano, which is burning. That's oregano is what the burning, which is really going to hurt. Rosemary, rabbit brush, clove, sage. It's got some burning oils in there. Yeah, it could, because you've got some heavy fighters in there.
Okay.
And you could add frankincense to it.
Yep. Yeah. So with the frankincense and myrrh, I've read where if you've got father issues, frankincense is very good, or mother issues, myrrh is very good. So it's at the emotional healing level.
Yeah, they're all very emotional, and that's why they were the main ones that were given as the gifts, the original gifts, because of their healing for properties for everything. So, and yet you can interchange, because some people have different properties as well. So
yeah. So
myrrh may give you a problem sometimes, because sometimes it goes to a resin state, because its natural state of being is a resin. So when you get it, you have to take it and warm it up.
Right.
And then it'll take it back to the liquid state, and then you'll be able to use the whole bottle instead of waste a lot of it, because it goes resin.
Right. So we were at a Catholic funeral a couple of days ago, and they burn frankincense.
Mm-hmm. But it's not the oil. It's not the oil. It's the resin.
Right.
Yeah, little teeny tiny little rocks. They look like little rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would be the reasoning behind burning frankincense?
It's the aroma, and it's the settling the brain and the emotions. When you use it at a funeral, something like that, it gives you the feeling of it's okay. They are with God. Everything is fine. Your world is not destroyed because someone has passed away. So it's very good for grief. It's a great grieving oil.
Right.
And you can add fir, the balsam fir, to the frankincense for more of a strength, because a tree is straight. Yeah. I mean, there's just fun things to do with them, but yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Relief, the relief blend.
We have relief and we have physical fit. So relief is one that was created for the athlete, for the runners, for the people that use the joints a lot. So if your injury is not as traumatic as tending the trauma, So, but you need to, like, if the runners will use a little bit of CM cream with about 3 or 4 drops of the relief and put it on the joints. And don't forget the ankles are a joint and the toes have joints in them when you're running. And put that on. That warms up the joint, and then put it on again when you're done running, and you will not have those side effects of running. You will not have that stiffness. You won't have the injuries because you've warmed them up. And if you're taking, of course, your rebound or whatever you're doing with it, you've got all of the supplements that you need to be there. You might as well support. Now, Relief has the lemongrass in it, which is for the joints. And so, yeah, it works that. So it's relief from physical use.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So the prosperity blend, how does that work? Is it working on the mind or what?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The mind and the emotions. This was created for people that think that they can never succeed. They can never do anything to succeed. Everything they do falls apart. Everything, nobody loves me. No, I'll never get anywhere. My business is never going to grow. And so, and it's a crazy thing because it's a psychological type of a thing. So by putting that prosperity on your hands and rubbing it on the steering wheel, be careful it's not a leather steering wheel cover because it will destroy the leather. Twice. Okay. So, but you put it on there and as you're going, you've got this, and it increases your ability to know that you can succeed.
Great.
Now, one time when it was first created, we suggested that they make a misting bottle with it, like about 5 drops in a 1 ounce, so a very mild one, and mist it on their bills when it went out, and it would bring back prosperity. And it kind of worked, but the government got a little bit upset about having a smell on our mail, and so they would send it back. So don't do that. But it's very good for that, that feeling good that things will happen, that the world does love you.
Yeah.
So it's a really fun one to work with.
So you could put it in a diffuser in your workplace?
You could, but you have to clear it with other people in the workplace.
Yeah.
But I would keep my number of drops low, but it does increase that because it helps everyone work with it. Everyone just gets this feeling of good things are going to happen. We got this. We're going to do this.
Wow. Sounds great. Okay. So the XY blend, what can you tell us about that?
This is a really one. This is a male-female hormonal support. So it's good for either one, either male or female. And it's hormonal support, and that's literally what it is. It was created to go with the Zero Test and the Zero Femme. So just inhaling it is going to help. Putting it on the bottom of the feet is going to help. Putting it on the lower abdomen is going to help. Whichever one. And when you're putting it on the lower abdomen, it's good to use a lotion, but you don't have to, but it is good to use a lotion. So, but that's what it is hormonal support.
So if a woman,
not going to increase sexual function again.
Yeah.
Can't.
How about for women going through menopause? Would it help them with?
That would be the rose geranium, but the XY blend will help because I know the Zero Test and the Zero Femme. I was so far past all of that kind of stuff, but the Women's FX, that liquid, because liquid is going to absorb so much faster. So the Women's FX with the XY blend or the rose geranium or the clary sage is really, really good for women, and men can use it as well. But by having the XY, it can be used for either one. And the oils that are in the XY blend are exactly for that, calming everything down. Now, if you have a hot flash, don't do the XY. Use the rose geranium.
Okay.
And all you have to do is open that bottle, take a sniff, and close the bottle. And the hot flush will stop.
Great. Fantastic. Awesome. Okay, so geranium, I think I've heard that is an insect and ant repellent. Is that?
Well, yeah, the rose geranium, because when you travel in Europe and they have these window boxes, it's geraniums, and they have no screens on their windows and no flies and stuff inside their house because of the geraniums. So that's for the flying insects. We have the Eucalyptus Citria Dora, which is the lemon eucalyptus, which is an insect repellent. We have the tea tree will work. We have the rose geranium. We have basil and lavender. Those two work really well together with the Citria Dora. The key oil on that is the Eucalyptus Citria Dora, because that is an insect repellent. But then if I'm working with ants, okay, I can use the Citria Dora, but they don't really, that doesn't bother them. But peppermint and cedarwood don't, ants don't like that. And so you can mist it on the ant hill. In the house, you have to find out where they're coming in and put a drop of peppermint or cedarwood, not both, one or the other, and put it down a few times. And they'll come in different holes. So you have to put them up, in a lot of different places. But then track it back to where they're coming in. Once you get them out of the outside, track them around the out of the inside, and then track them around on the outside, and they'll go away. So
where we live, we can get like 20, 30 ant mounds in our lawn. So how would we deal with that with the oils?
If you get the plant, the granules, the blooming minerals, okay,
yeah.
And as you spray that on the lawn, I would put in, depending on how big your lawn is, I would put cedarwood or peppermint. Now if you've got somebody with blood pressure issues, don't use the peppermint, use the cedarwood. And I would stir that in with it, and then as you fertilize, and that will do it. And then as you water, that'll drive it down in and go. So, yeah. And you have to keep after them. But when they finally realize that they can't exist in your yard, they go to the neighbor's yard. So,
yes. So if you lived in an open plan home where you want to have all your doors and windows wide open to verandas, etc., how would you control flying insects in that situation?
I do a mister, and I like the mister that has the Eucalyptus Citria Dora. Let's see, I do 7, 1 ounce mister, I'll do 7 of the Citria Dora, and I'll do 2 tea tree and 1 rose geranium. And then I mist, so if I have a curtain, I'll mist the outside, next to the door, I'll mist the curtain. Or if there's a screen, I'll mist the outside of the screen. Now the basil and lavender with Citria Dora is a better scent for some people, and that will keep them away as well. So, yeah. But I mist around. I'll mist the couches out, but I'll really mist around the openings, but I mist on the outside so it stops them before they get into the house.
Yeah. Could you have a diffuser going at the doorways?
You can, but you really, for your health, you should really only diffuse for about 15 to 20 minutes every 2 to 3 hours.
Right.
Because you have to have your lungs get air. They have to have oxygen. And if you diffuse at night, you really give your lungs some damage, because you're laying down and you don't have as much air circulation, and it will actually get too much oil in the lungs. So you can do a diffuser, but again, the 15 to 20 minutes, and it will last if it's by fabric, if it's by something, like a curtain or something like that. But you have to make sure it stays away from pets and children.
Okay. So we've got a question. What essential oil would you recommend to help break up a gallstone?
It's a tea, and the 3 oils are lemon, peppermint, and carrot seed. So I'm going to take a cup of lemon juice, real lemon juice. No, I'm going to take a tablespoon. I'm going to put the water in later. I take a tablespoon of lemon juice, and in the lemon juice I put 1 drop of lemon oil, 1 drop of peppermint oil, and 2 drops of carrot seed oil. And then I stir that into the 8 ounces of warm water, and I like to add a little bit of honey just to make sure, because my stomach has always been a problem. And then I sip that, but I only do it for 3 mornings, making sure I drink a lot of water throughout the day. And then I will wait, and I'll wait for 3 days. So I do 3 days on, and if I have to do it again, I'll do 3 days. But something that works even better is if you take 6 lemons and a bundle of parsley, and you just take the very ends off of the lemons, and then you just chop them up, and you don't skin them or nothing. You use the whole lemon and the parsley. Now I have to break it up because of my blender. So I'll take 3 lemons chopped up and half of the bunch of parsley and grind the heck out of that with some water. And then I'll do the other 3, and then I'll put them in a gallon container and fill it up to the top with water, and I put usually about a tablespoon, well, about an ounce to 2 ounces of the plant-derived minerals in there. And it's green. It's green. And then that's what I drink for 3 days or until it runs out.
And you're passing out the gallstones after that 3 days?
I didn't stop and look.
Okay.
The Good Herbs has a really good one too, has the liver gallbladder support. And that the last time I like the parsley lemon drink because it cleans the liver as well as gets rid of the stones. So that's what I did this last time. And it's crazy because as much supplements as I'm taking, I'm like, how come, but it could have come from way back. You never know. But so a couple of times ago, probably March, I did the Good Herbs liver gallbladder support. And that literally just put a teaspoon in a little bit of water and swallow that down and wait 20 minutes and do it again if you need to. And the pain is gone in about an hour.
Great. Okay. Is the Eucalyptus Citria Dora effective against mosquitoes?
Yes, especially against mosquitoes.
Yeah. So you would just
that is good, but you never have just mosquitoes. You have those little no-see-ums. You have chiggers in the grass. You have, those little things. So that's why you do a combination of the Citria Dora, basil, lavender, or the Citria Dora, tea tree, rose, geranium. So, but your main oil is the Citria Dora.
Okay. So just spray it on your skin.
You can close your eyes, and you can do it on children. Now, if you want it on a child and people that sweat a lot, you can use the grapeseed oil, the blending oil as your carrier, and it will mist. It will go through the mister, and you can use that. And so your combination of oils is not going to be more than 10 in a 1 ounce bottle. If you're doing a 2 ounce bottle, go for 18. So just split them up and don't do them even. The rose geranium, 1 to 2 drops of that rose geranium is plenty. And, so it's your tea tree or your basil. Now, if you get the Aroma Share, they did have those recipes in there, and I think they're online as well.
Okay. Brenda, you were going to speak about children's blending on the go. You seem to want to speak about that one.
With the children's blending on the go, and then there's the other. So they're already made in a 1% dilution in a roller bottle. So it's so if they have if they have a boo-boo or something, you just take the roller bottle of the Comfort Touch and just roll it on. So you have oils that are safe for that, and teach them to rub it on the bottom of the feet. But you don't rub. You just rub it on, and that's all, literally. And so my thing with the roller bottles is they're good for one person because you can't clean the roller. Now, yes, the oil is going to get rid of any germs or whatever there is, but still, passing them from child to child kind of bothers my nature, my thing to not spread anything. So it depends on what I'm using it for as to what, but the roller bottles are a good thing, and they're already a 1% dilution, so they're safe for newborn babies.
Okay.
It's an easier way to have it all done and ready. And then if the child does grab it, it's a 1% solution, which means there's 1 drop versus 10 drops of your carrier.
Yep.
So it's only a child's solution.
Okay. So we've got another question. Croup in a 6-month baby who ends up hospitalized. Any suggestions, please?
With croup?
Croup, yes.
Yeah, the Ravensara. The Ravensara is really good. And honestly, you can rub it on the chest and on the back because the lungs are front and back, and then on the bottom of the feet. And if you mist it around the room so that they're breathing, but you don't mist it around them. Yep. You mist it around the room. Now, the hospitals here are getting a little bit better if we bring in our own oils. I don't know what it's like there, but the Ravensara is going to clear those lungs right up.
Great. Okay. And any help or support with infertility?
Eggs.
we had.
That's what he says. 12 to 15 eggs for both the men and the women. They both have to do it for 30 days, and then call doc and tell him when your due date is. And I have seen this work over and over and over. So for the women, the XY is going to work. The Clary Sage with the Women's FX, the liquid Women's FX, which is a supplement. For the men, the Man Up can help, But for them, it's more the eggs. You need to have that cholesterol in there, and yeah.
Mm. We had pharmacist Ben Fuchs speaking about a month ago, and we asked him about infertility, and he said a major part of it is the stress levels. And he said the more we can do to calm ourselves, the more likely it is that a woman will become pregnant. So
that control center is that thyroid. So if you're doing the bergamot or the myrrh, now myrrh is a yellow oil and that will turn your throat yellow, so be careful. But the bergamot will help. If you have the lavender will help. Anything that calms you down, the scent of it. So that's where the aroma therapy will work really, really well.
Yeah, he suggested having warm baths, so we could probably add in some of these oils into the bath.
But the best way to do that, don't put the oil in directly in the water. It's just going to float on the top and you'll get no benefit. But our Dead Sea salt, if you take just a little bit in the palm of your hand and put 3 to 5 drops of oil of your choice and put that in, it'll hold the oil in suspension, and then you've got a full spa effect. Mm-hmm. And that will really help. But when the water starts getting cold, you need to get out, because otherwise you're going to not get the benefit of the oil coming in. It's just going to be sitting on the skin and not work as well.
Okay. Yep, we're getting a few questions rolling in. Oils for wrinkles and tightening the skin.
My favorite topic. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that I use. I am 69, and I have some, but then I've been out. I don't put my blend on all the time, but I have a blend that I do, and I use patchouli. Now I use the Botanical Spa. I think it's the night cream. I never have it when I want to look at it. It's the night cream, so it doesn't have anything in it except lavender. So I use that, and I use just about a large tablespoon, so that I've got maybe 5-7 days worth of application. And into that, the oils that I use is patchouli, fennel, the frankincense lavender blend, and because I'm in the desert, I use palmarosa. Now, you can use it or not. If you don't want the palmarosa, use the copaiba if you have the copaiba. There are others that work on them, but those are the ones I use with the green mandarin. The reason I use the green mandarin is because the patchouli and the fennel don't always work together, but I need them for tightening and for releasing the wrinkles. And the palmarosa, with the moisture, she adds moisture, so that helps get rid of the small little wrinkles. And so by putting them on, I had some dental work done, and they hit a nerve, and I had a full palsy, a whole inch drop. And I had a live workshop in 6 days. And I'll tell you that patchouli with the frankincense lavender and the fennel, and putting that on, and nobody could tell, because it tightened up the muscle, the lifting and pulling, but all of the wrinkles as well. So,
and did you put that in a carrier oil?
No, I put it in that nightly cream, the Botanical Spa night cream.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because I wanted a cream. That's going to, and that's with Michelle Wallach working on these things, they're going to work really good for the face. But that's what I do is, that one.
Okay. Somebody's asking a large lipoma on the side of the chest. Is there anything that could assist with that?
It's crazy because a lot of the oils are anti-inflammatory. CM cream is anti-inflammatory. So if that's all you have is CM cream, put that on, like every 2 hours. Don't wake yourself up at night to put it on. It'll work. And a lot of them are anti-inflammatory. Cypress is anti-inflammatory. If you've got pain with it, put a drop of birch. 10 drops of birch is equal to 21 aspirin. So be very, very careful with the birch, but it's amazing. It's a massive pain reliever. But I would say about 80% of the essential oils are an anti-inflammatory, and they will work on it. But tea tree directly on it. Trauma, if that's what you've got, comfort touch, whatever you've got, put it, drop it on gently. And then if things that spread, take the tea tree and go around it, and that'll stop it from spreading.
Great. Okay. Somebody's in their left hip joint, nearly stopping them from walking. And it comes on and off. So what would you recommend there?
See, that's right. I'd use the CM cream again because I want the anti-inflammatory and the pain relieving of the CM cream. I would add a drop of birch, and I would use lemongrass for the joint. If I was working on the muscle, I would use the marjoram, the sweet marjoram. But because it's a joint, I'm going to use the lemongrass. But the birch is going to be helpful, but don't, like I said, really do not get carried away with that. So again, I'd make a small jar of it, and I would use like a large teaspoon, and I would put 2 drops of birch, and I would put 4 to 6 drops of lemongrass, and then see how that works. And then if I feel like I need to add marjoram for the muscle around it, then I would do that as well.
Okay. Now, for an 11-year-old child with an Achilles heel problem, what would stop the pain?
Birch, relief, comfort touch, any of those again. But with, and how, I don't know how many pounds, how big is the child?
50 kilos.
I'm an American.
Oh, times 2.2. So that's over 100 pounds.
Okay, then they're good. So they can use now cypress is going to be good again because you want the stretching, but you can use the relief. You can use the Achilles. You can use the lemongrass. You can, because you want to stretch it. You don't use the patchouli because that's a pulling, tightening in. So using things that are going to relax. The comfort touch is going to relax. The lavender is going to relax. Anything that's going to be relaxing that way, but the CM cream is going to be a really good point on that one.
Okay. Now, what is good for parathyroid health?
The good herbs.
Right.
Yeah, the good herbs, because they have the adrenal support, they have the hypothalamus support, they have all of those supports. But again, you want to be working on this, and this is where I use the bergamot. I use the bergamot a lot, not just for the fact that it helps with the hormones, because that's the control center, but my thyroid was literally tested by the doctors as being dead. I was within normal range for years and years, and then all of a sudden they said, oh, by the way, it's dead. We'll take it out for you. And I'm like, no, you won't. God put it in and must have a purpose. Now it's 100% within normal range, although I've never figured out their normal range, but now it's 100% active. But I did the myrrh at night and the bergamot during the day. And it got rid of a goiter. It got rid of different things, but that's what I did, was worked on that. And then when the good herbs came in, I added that as well.
Great. Okay.
And just remember, learn how to count to 1. 1 drop really is enough. Just learn how to count and just apply it more often. But 1 drop is really a good thing to count.
Right.
1.
Okay. We don't have to go overboard with these.
No, because all you're going to do is waste the oil. The body can only absorb 1 drop and utilize 1 drop at a time, and then it has to get rid of the rest. But it has to get rid of it by going through the liver. The liver is going to try to clean it out because it is not a natural thing to be there, and that's going to tax the liver. So 1 drop is perfect.
Great. Okay. All righty. Well, we'll close the webinar for today, and thank you so much, Brenda, for your time today.